On today's podcast, we welcome back Karim and help her relaunch her membership site.
Welcome to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast, where life always comes before work. We're your hosts, Shane and Jocelyn Sams. We're a real family that figured out how to make our entire living online. And now we help other families do the same. Are you ready to flip your life? All right, let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. It is great to be back with you again this week. We got a super exciting guest for you today. We are welcoming back a guest from our show who we helped in episode 97. Her name is Karim Morato. Karim, welcome back to the show.
Hola, how are you?
and as you can see, Karim speaks Spanish. And Karim has an awesome online business idea. She is a homeschool teacher who teaches Spanish, helps people learn, teach their children Spanish through her membership site. The last time that she was on this show, we helped her kind of set everything up, kind of niche down, figure out what direction she was going in. Karim is a member of our Flip Your Life community, and she came into our mastermind. We have a monthly mastermind every couple months to take a small group of our members and help them really take it up a notch and get to the next level. We helped her set up her infrastructure, set up her membership, and open the doors basically to the online world. So let's get caught up a little bit with Karim and see where she is today before we help her take it to the next level.
So let's go back to right after we recorded last time. So what was happening before we recorded, right after we recorded, and bring us up to now.
So basically, guys, first of all, I am very thankful for you both. The membership has been a great source of help for me, but also joining two masterminds made a big difference for me. So like Shane saying, the first mastermind was more about where do I go, and the second mastermind was more of like, okay, you need to grow this baby. So I basically has been concentrating in growing the membership. And what I did is I kind of created a marketing plan. I joined Facebook, created my Facebook page. I have 400 parents following me now.
That is awesome.
I would also join several Facebook groups where my parents congregate. So it is great because that gave me an idea to create my own Facebook Spanish group. And I have almost 130 parents there too.
You didn't have any of this the last time we talked on the podcast, right?
No.
Yeah, that's just fresh start.
Yeah, that came out of the second mastermind where I had the membership and I was like, okay, what is next? And I was getting a little bit distracted. I wanted to do other things. And you guys stopped me and say, no, stop the shining object syndrome right here. And you need to grow this baby. And it was funny because I didn't know where to start. And you gave me the impossible task where you just told me, go and get a testimonial. And I was like, I have 0 members. Go and get a testimonial. And I got one.
That's right.
And that made a big difference because parents were able to, watch the testimonial. And that testimonial had me promoted in, I put an ad in Facebook. So it was almost like the push that I needed, and from there, I started doing my own thing in Facebook. And of course, I kept a little bit of the local part because I have a newsletter that I advertise, which is local newsletter. I got some members from there too. But most of my members have been because of the Facebook testimonial effect.
Okay. So basically, I remember we were talking about this in the mastermind, and I can remember your episode where we were just setting everything up. Everybody starts out so broad and overwhelmed, Like what we were saying was when, during that mastermind, you were so broad, so overwhelmed, looking in 100 different directions. And we were like, take the one thing you've got created, give it to one human being, get one testimonial, and that's the first brick in the wall. And when you did that, it was a lot, I guess, easier for you to go out and say, hey, I can go into this group of other homeschool people who are teaching their kids Spanish and say, look what I've done. Hey, I can start an ad and say, look what I've done. And that's what's so important when anyone is stuck, is to just take some kind of action. And that's kind of what you did to get the ball rolling. And now you've got a little following. You've got people on Facebook that are talking with you, talking to you, following you, and you're becoming an expert in these other groups that you've kind of organically joined. So tell us about the actual membership. You opened up your membership for homeschool Spanish lessons. And how many members do you have right now?
I have 11 members right now.
That is amazing.
So, but one of the things that came out of the whole growing and targeting, being very focus oriented, is that I got to hear what the parents wanted, people that would follow me wanted. And the number one request was also they needed a Spanish course for primary years. So the thing is, they were asking for something that I was not thinking about it. So it took me a while with some self-reflection, because I also have my own daughter, she's 7 years old. And she also told me, I want to learn Spanish in a fun way. So with that personal request and everybody asking me the same thing, I was able to say, okay, I am adding the new course into my membership. So it's almost like I completed the product that I needed to complete through these months.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I feel like a lot of times that we think we know what people want, and so we go out there really excited about what we think they want, and then we get to talking to them and they're like, no, that's not what we want at all.
Right.
And it's kind of fascinating. We have people do this all the time. Like, I think one of the most important things people can do starting out is to have a personal face-to-face meeting with somebody who fits your description of your target customer. And the purpose of the meeting is not to try to sell them anything. It's just simply to see what they need. What are their problems? How can you solve those problems? And I think that's really cool that you said that, because I'm always trying to tell people this, but sometimes they don't want to do it.
We think we have the curse of knowledge. We think we know all the answers. We think we know what people need. And also, too, like, it's not as much about asking people what they want. That's like asking a sick patient kind of like what their disease is and what the cure is. They don't know. That's why they go to the doctor. You got with people, you talked to people, you sold people what you were already selling, and then you started listening to their symptoms and the problem they actually had. Then you figured out, oh, I was trying to go 7 through 12. They were wanting 1st through 5th. You moved the cure because you're the doctor for them once you realized what their symptoms were, basically.
Yes, and that's true. Because, when you homeschool, you have the whole family. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I noticed that I was getting the teens, and I still think that there is a great need there to teach the 7 to 12th grade students, and they are there. But also, I was amazed and surprised that parents wanted the Spanish course for the early ages too. So
yeah, and that's funny because, like, in American schools, they require you to take those Spanish classes or French classes or German or whatever. You got to take 2 years of some kind of foreign language in high school to avoid it in college. That's basically why people take it. But that kind of can put it in your head, hey, this is what all the people in schools are teaching. Therefore, that's what the homeschool people will need. But then the homeschool person might have a different agenda. It's not just to get it out of the way for college like a high school student. It's just so fascinating that you never would have been able to figure that out just by researching. You never would have been able to figure that out just on your own because you're the expert. You had to jump off the cliff and go get with someone who you thought was your avatar and then discover that when you were working with them. And that's what so many people don't do. They just think they've got the answers instead of finding someone who has the problem and then coming up with their solution or modifying it a little bit.
Yes. So what I'm doing now is I am basically saying, okay, this is a Spanish course for primary years is coming up. Get in the wait list. So I started a waiting list. So when I relaunch, my membership, is part of the strategy too.
Yeah, I think that's great.
When we were talking about this for about a week in the forums, going back and forth, and you were like, okay, I know they need this primary thing. And one of the things that you asked that I thought was really fascinating was, should I scrap the old thing and make this a brand new thing? And this is where I want to kind of magnify the power of memberships. You don't have to like redo everything. You don't have to throw all your old stuff away. The beauty is you can just open an area in your membership, another forum basically, where primary student parents can go. They can get their primary stuff, and that can coexist right beside the secondary school membership that you've already created and got people in. And now you're just segmenting your audience of homeschool parents who want their kids to learn Spanish. Now all you got to do is show them, hey, oh, your kid's in 2nd grade, I can help you. Or, hey, your kid's in 10th grade, I can help you. And everybody just pays one fee. And it's all so easy, and it's one product, and everything lives there.
Yes, and I know that's going to be a complete hit because parents will not believe it that such a good courses because they are good, not because I'm the teacher, but I know they are great. I'm putting a lot of research about how to create them to make sure the students are, learning correctly, speaking correctly. I know parents are going to really see the value of the course membership.
Yeah, and you don't have to keep up with 5 different videos now. You just create one ad campaign, and maybe over here you target parents of young kids, and over here you target parents with older kids, and they all go to the same sales page that you created one time. It's awesome.
I did my first Facebook Live last Friday, and I could see how it was so natural for me to kind of move the content, give the content, but say, okay, this will be for primary years. And now if you have teenagers, this will be for teenagers. So it is very natural for me to present the content for both needs. And what I did is that I edited the video and I made it a shorter version. And right now I'm basically running a Facebook ad with a video. And right now it's almost 500 views.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think that you should probably be multi-purposing that too. So also maybe try and put it on YouTube, things like that. That's just going to give you even more people to see that and interact with it.
Okay, so we kind of brought everybody up to speed. And if you want to go back and really get the full story, go to flippedlifestyle.com/podcast97. Episode 97, and you'll be able to hear Karim's first interview. But let's follow up now. We've done great so far in the time we've been together. You've got members. You've got this new segment. You're going to be able to market this to a really large demographic of people. So what can we do to help you get to the next level with your membership site?
Okay, so my objective is I want to grow my list. So I'm working right now on my sales funnel and on my nurture sequence because I want to relaunch in April. Why April? Because in May, everybody goes and start looking for their curriculum for homeschool curriculum, usually May and June. So I think, and you guys maybe can correct me if I'm wrong, relaunching my membership with the full courses, it will be good in April. So I'm using also Facebook Live now, and also I want to do webinars to achieve that goal. So can you guys give me an idea how to work Facebook Live and webinars? Is this possible to grow my list in an effective way?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, video is just where everybody's at right now. It's just like the hot thing in internet marketing. I think you should definitely be doing that. You should be running ads, like cold ads to people who are not familiar with you yet. I would probably maybe do that to some content first. So just
like before you invite them to a webinar or something like that.
Yeah, I would do it to some free content on your site, get them pixeled on your site, and then run another ad with, say, a video or an invitation to a webinar. I do a lot of automated webinars for elementary librarian, and that works really well for me. People just seem to like going to those. I call it a free training because my people don't really understand what a webinar is.
And most homeschool parents that are not internet marketers probably won't understand the word webinar either, Yeah,
so you might just call it a free training. And, if you want to do it live, I know that that's something that you feel comfortable with, then that's totally cool. Or if you want to do it automated, then I think that's fine too.
I think people get really confused with Facebook Live. Facebook Live is not really a sales thing. It's more like just a way to communicate with your audience. Like this Facebook group that you formed with 100 and something people, the page with 400 people that have liked it. It's just a way to keep in front of them because
and it boosts your know, like, and trust. That's very important if you want people to buy things from you.
So if you jump on there and you're like, I would do very simple, small things with Facebook Live regularly. Like maybe you have, a once a week thing where people can ask you questions, or you just get on and teach a small lesson like, hey, while your 8-year-old is eating breakfast this morning, go over these 3 things in Spanish with them: the bowl, the spoon, and the milk, or whatever, And I like
that.
Yeah, and like do something really simple like that doesn't kind of overlap with your curriculum, because you're teaching them in a way that's just like, hey, that really worked. By the end of the week, my kid knows that a bowl. What's Spanish for bowl? I don't know what Spanish for bowl is. What is that, Karim?
La taza.
Okay, there you go. So by the end of the week, I am not going to try to say that, but my child would be able to say that from watching that video, And if you can give them little bitty nuggets of results on Facebook Live, why would they not come to your webinar that happens once a month where you're going to teach them how to teach their kids something, like really foundational, and then they jump into the actual membership off of that.
What you're going to, quote, sell on Facebook Live is something for free that they give you their email address in exchange for.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're basically just trying to do some list building, growing that know, like, and trust factor so that people will feel confident and comfortable buying from you in the future.
Like we like to build chains from the person to whatever we're selling. So your chain here would be like, hey, I've got my Facebook page and group. That's one link in the chain. So you got to be really active there. Then your next link in the chain would be Facebook Live, which would be really consistent and regular and short. Okay. You don't want 20-minute Facebook Lives. You want 2-minute Facebook Lives that deliver easy results. Okay. The next link in your chain would then be this webinar where you're just wanting people to get registered. Even if they don't show up, like Jocelyn said, you just want the email. And then you can let your autoresponder and other webinars go back and sell it. That'd be farther down the chain. But that's what you want to build right now, is just how can I get people to register for the webinar, which gets me these emails. Easy. Consistently communicate with them on Facebook Live. So when you ask for the webinar, it's a no-brainer for them to say yes.
And this is good because I learned what you're saying to me, the hard lesson, because even though, it was my first Facebook Live, which is okay. I was experimenting. But then after watching, it's like, wow, that was a webinar. It was not a Facebook Live,
Yep.
So, and I realized, I told myself, never again, I'm going to rename this Facebook Live to 5 minutes of Spanish,
Exactly.
something like that.
Everything that you do for free has to deliver some kind of result. That's another thing that people just don't understand. Like sometimes people grandstand on their blog posts. You know what I mean? And like they make a big point and that's fine. And they may say, well, this is the way it is. But then the person has nothing to do. There's no result from it at the end of it. If you can have a Facebook Live and then someone goes and teaches their kid like the breakfast stuff, they're going to get a result. And when the kid, 3 days later says, hey, hand me my spoon in Spanish, but they say it in Spanish, the parent's going to go, wow, she really knows what she's talking about. So when you ask for the webinar email, it's going to be a lot easier because she trusts your knowledge.
Yeah, when you think about doing things like that, when you're planning your content as far as like free content, I always try to think about things, okay, what is something that I could give away to people that they would want to share with someone else because it's so good that they're like, hey, this is really cool content.
This worked
Let
for
me
me.
pass this on. For instance, I have on Elementary Librarian right now, I'm doing an ad for some free Black History Month resources. So basically, I've had several people sharing that, and I'm just giving it away totally for free. No email address required, anything. Now, am I pixeling you when you get to the site? Yep.
Yes.
But, I'm just giving that away. And so people are like, this is really cool. Thank you. And they're like sharing it with their friends. And just from that alone, I've had like over 100 people like the Facebook page this week. I'm not running any like campaigns, anything like that. I just did those free resources.
And it was because you thought about it ahead of time, though. She said, what is something timely? How can I deliver a result? How can I help the person do something, teach their kid?
And make them want to tell someone else.
Exactly. Then it's a no-brainer when you ask for currency, and that doesn't mean cash. Email is currency, A click to your page is currency because you're going to pixel them.
Okay. This is great stuff, guys. Thank you so much because now I see better. I was so confused on Friday about, okay, what is a webinar? What is a Facebook Live?
Yeah.
And I say to myself, I can't keep doing these Facebook Live for so long.
No, you can't. Here's an easy way to kind of think about it, okay? A webinar is a play on the word seminar, which we know is somewhere you go to sit down and learn something for 30 minutes to an hour all day, right? You've got people that are invested that are coming to a webinar.
And they should know you really well before you're giving them all that content. Like that's a lot of information.
A Facebook Live is a way to deliver short bursts of information or to engage directly in a Q&A format with your audience, okay? So for you, I think because you're teaching something, that's what you're going to use Facebook Live for, but it's short, quick tips more than anything else. We have another member who's done our mastermind named Carolyn Lincoln. She was on the podcast too, and she's at playtobehave.com, which is about dog training. She was doing the same thing you did when she started doing Facebook Live. They were like really, really long. And we told her, Carolyn, prove you can show your dog how to sit because
that's all
our
you
dog,
have to do.
That's all you have to do. Like go over to your dog and look at it and go, sit, Ubu, sit, and make the dog sit. And then look back and go, I can show you how to do that too. Watch this. Show me how you got the dog to sit and say, I can teach you everything else about your dog later. Bye.
It was like a 2-minute video and like we were mesmerized
because my dog wouldn't sit for me, but she taught me something. She showed me how to do it. I went and did it and it worked with my dog. We joined her membership because we needed help training our dog. And that's what you're going to do here. You know what I mean? You're going to say,
yes.
Hey, Teach your kid how to say fork and spoon in Spanish. Bam, come back tomorrow to learn something new,
Teach your student how to do 5 greetings. Buenos dias, buenas tardes,
Exactly.
buenas noches.
Yeah, give them a tip and move on and say, if you do that, I guarantee your child will speak more Spanish tomorrow than he or she did today. We'll see you on Wednesday when I do my next Facebook Live. And you'll start getting more and more people watching that little regular Facebook Live thing you do.
Okay. And then what do I do with those 5 minutes? Should I repurpose them in an ad and just put them in my Facebook page?
You can. I would just throw them on YouTube. Mostly what I do. Our strategy is going forward, we do YouTube first is what my kind of plan is. And I'm going to share it on Facebook instead of doing, because I just want it in both places.
We're actually considering doing them live simultaneously, like using two different devices to put it on YouTube Live and Facebook Live.
Yeah. The reason our mentality is YouTube first is because Facebook is not inherently searchable like that with a Facebook Live video. Like if I create YouTube Live videos and it's on YouTube Live, and then Jocelyn's also filming me on Facebook, but Facebook in our mind is like the second level, then basically it's going to be in a search engine place. Like people are going to go and look up like how to teach my child Spanish, and your stuff would be there. So the same thing here. If we do YouTube videos first, it's already on YouTube. It's up there. Our VAs can go in and put in words for the descriptions and tags and all that stuff. And then it's on Facebook too. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah, but that's how we're going to do it.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about how to get people to come to you and how to get them to opt in, things like that. So what else can we help you with today?
Okay, so assuming that I would do everything that you guys told me. Okay, so I'm ready to launch. I'm sure that I have everything that I need to relaunch. How do I prepare for that?
Okay, you're never going to have everything you need to launch or relaunch.
It's kind of like having a kid or like getting a dog, or you're never ready for any of those things.
Getting married. What?
What are you trying to say?
Sorry. Like you can never be fully prepared. And I want to change your launch mentality. I like opening and closing the doors better because it does say, hey, do we have the rocket boosters ready? Hey, are the wings okay? Is this thing going to blow up when I launch it? You already have everything ready. You really just need to get that first part of the curriculum in there, and you can go ahead and start selling it now. Like if you want to have like a big special day with some scarcity and there's like a 48-hour window.
Cart, closed cart. That's fine.
You can do that. It's more like we know people want this. Let's just go ahead and give them what they want. I mean, it really boils down to how fast can you get the first month of content in there, and then you can add it as you go because people are going to be working their way through the content while you create the new stuff.
We're not big on the whole waiting thing. Like we've never done that. I mean, we just like started creating stuff and started selling it. And, sometimes it won't be done. We've sold things with just an outline before. Nothing else but an outline. And said, this is what we're planning to do. Do you want to buy it? Yes or no?
Do you want to get in on this before we jack up the price when it's actually created? Some people launch, some people just open the doors, some people go forward. If you've got the stuff ready to sell, just start selling it. There's no reason to wait until you have the perfect path.
Do you have something to put in there as of right now? You said yes, right?
Yes. Right now, it's basically my Spanish 1, 2, and 3 courses.
Are you wanting to relaunch specifically for this new segment?
For the primary. And I wanted to do something like a big before the parents go to the homeschool convention, like just to say, hey, this is a Spanish curriculum here that can help you teach your son or daughter Spanish.
You know how some people are like, it's like a secret, like something is coming, and you can do that stuff, but like it's more like, hey, I'm Karim. I'm teaching tons of people how to help their kids learn Spanish. I got a new thing just for you, and just send an email. Just get it rolling before you set up this huge launch. Like just send an email and see if anybody will just go ahead and buy it. If they will, that's great. What if 10 people sign up in the time that you were going to spend building all this launch stuff
Why would you tell them no? Why would you not take their payment for the next 2 months?
Exactly.
It just doesn't make sense. No, I mean, if you want to have like a sort of formal thing, like I don't have a problem with that necessarily. If you want to wait a little while and like formally do it when you have more things in it. But if somebody comes to you right now and says, hey, I really want to buy this, then let them.
I think it's not necessarily a relaunch as much as what you're saying is, how do I tell all these people I now have this other area in my
the primary years?
Yeah,
okay.
Just send an email to all those people that have already voiced that's who you learned from. that they wanted this.
In fact, I think what I would do right now at this stage is I would send an email out, like a little survey, and I would say, hey, based on your feedback, I'm working on this new primary area. Here are some things that I'm considering. Do you have any additional ideas? And like when people click on that and they interact with it,
those are people that want to buy it.
You know that they're very interested. So then you might send them another email and say, hey, thanks for your feedback on my questions. I'm getting ready to open this, but before I do, because you showed interest, I was going to see if you were interested in joining first.
Yeah, you could just send an email out. Go put the first week of lessons in and say, the primary area is open of my membership. We are ready to start teaching primary students. Get in now. Here's the price, same as the membership, and just email them and tell them it's ready, because they're not waiting for the price. They're not waiting for the surprise of, ooh, this is what the big secret was. They're just waiting for you to say, hey, this is what you already want. I'm now offering it. Pay me.
Yeah, so I would just start running ads.
Okay, no problem. I will. And I already, since I still writing in some blogs where I am a guest, they are allowing me to put some opt-ins for that.
And do that. That's fine.
And do that.
Now, let me ask you some questions about this convention, because we have several different homeschooling people in our membership. And I always hear people talk about the convention. Is there one convention? Are there many conventions? Like, how does this work?
When I'm talking about conventions, is they go to by states. But I know in Virginia, it will be in May. And I know in Texas, North Carolina, it's around May and June.
Right.
And that's where homeschool parents go. They get training. They go and buy curriculum, use curriculum, new curriculums. It's a big deal for homeschool parents.
Can you target those conferences? Like with ads?
Yes.
Yeah, I would encourage you, and I wouldn't say this to everybody, but I think that it would be really wise for you to maybe try to get involved with some of those actual in-person conventions. A lot of times you can speak at them, and you don't even have to be like a professional speaker or anything. I've spoken at several in the state of Kentucky, and I'm far from a professional speaker. So, you can just contact them and say, hey, I'm interested in maybe presenting on Spanish in this homeschool convention. This is what I do.
Or even get a table. Can you get a booth like at the Virginia one?
Yeah, I would definitely try to get a booth.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good idea. You can meet some people in the space and just sort of even just start to get your name out there, maybe in even some surrounding states if you can get that together. Another thing you can do is you can ask them if they do door prizes. A lot of times they'll draw for door prizes like at the end of the conference.
You could donate
so maybe,
membership.
Yeah, you could donate so many months of membership, and that could get them to like say your name and people would be aware of you.
Oh, and that would be good too, because then like if you can go to the Virginia one, which is close to home, right? One, you can say I'm featured at this homeschool convention, which gives you street cred. That's why anybody talks at a conference, is for street cred. It's not for making money.
You can also target with ads people who are interested in homeschooling who live in Virginia. Say, hey, it was nice meeting you at the Virginia homeschooling conference or whatever.
I like the idea too of contacting like the Texas convention, home Spanish, whatever it is, and like saying, hey, I want to give away a free membership for my Spanish curriculum
as a door prize.
Would you like to do that? And then that's how you can get your name out there without having to go to all these things,
Yes, that's a wonderful idea. I never thought about that.
If you can, you should show ads to all those conventions, because we have friends that homeschool all their kids. And like she has 4 kids. She homeschools them. Like, I'm not sure they would go to a convention. So some people go to conventions. Some people don't. So I think that you're going to have to think about that as like everyone who homeschools doesn't go to the conventions. But there's going to be other people at home that are like, man, I'd love to teach my kid what she's teaching. So how do you get in front of them as well? They may not even go like those pages. So you're going to have 2 thought processes here of how do I reach the hardcore people going to the conventions, and how do I reach the people who don't go to the conventions, basically.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah.
And we can flesh that out in the forums. We can like start 2 threads and say, okay, here's all the things I can target for the convention goers. Here's all the people I can target for this.
Yeah, I did this a lot when I was starting out with elementary librarian. I did the Kentucky Library Association. I've done several other meetings across the state of Kentucky, and it just kind of gets you out there and like gets people familiar with what you have to offer. So, it's just like any other industry. You go to a live event, you meet people, and you kind of learn more about them and their pain points.
And the lesson here for everybody listening on the podcast is online marketing is not totally online. Like, that's why Jocelyn and I are getting ready to go to Dallas, Texas to go to an event. We were looking into setting up an event in March. It's to get out there and be in front of people and see people and network. And there are things you can do offline to grow your online business, or like, especially where you are, where you've got this foundation built and you want to build out that foundation stronger. If you can do that in the physical real world, it makes it a lot easier to just pile on the online stuff.
Yes. I will consider that. I will be contacting them. And I think I love the door prize. Because for some reason, I'm getting a lot of customers and leads from Texas.
There you go.
Yes, just gave me a wonderful idea right there.
Okay. I think that's a bigger topic. We're going to have to flesh that out more in the forums. Okay.
Yes.
So let's talk more about that in the forums, and let's go on. Do you have any other questions you want to ask us while we're still on the air?
I have a lot on my plate, but I see the end of the tunnel when it comes to completing the courses. So like I see my Spanish 1 course is going to be completed in March. So I have a lot of other avatars that I have said no right now because I want to be focused on the homeschool avatar.
Right.
But once I finish the Spanish 1 course, should I consider selling that course to another avatar that I have?
You mean like a high school teacher?
No, I have 2 avatars. I have either the professional adult that wants me to teach them Spanish, and I can't do that right now, and they want to buy the course, or I could actually open a new membership, like a tutorial membership to help high school students to improve or make sure to support them in the Spanish 1 course. So I have 2 avatars that I could go that I know they want because they have been asking me for my services, but I have said no because, I needed to work on the homeschool avatar.
I think that if your content is the same, meaning that you're going to use the same course for the different person, I think that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. And that's just a matter of showing an ad with different pain points to a different person. That's all that is. Now, if it comes with like any type of trading time or like, you're saying like tutoring, I'm not really sure about that. I guess it just really depends on what your goals are.
Yeah, I think this goes back to the reason we've kind of started shifting toward talking about this chain effect, right? Mm-hmm, so like we just talked about before, like let's say you've got your business. Say it's like a chandelier, okay? And you've got this one chain that you build initially that's holding up this big heavy chandelier, okay? So that represents like one link in the chain is the Facebook ad, the next link is the free content, the next link is the opt-in, then the sales page, then the product, right? Mm-hmm. If you can connect another chain from the roof down to that chandelier, it's going to make it hold it up easier, right? So if you can say, like, for example, you started out with this secondary education chain. Now build another chain for the primary. It's still going to the same area. You had to create a little bit more content for that, but it's still the same thing, right?
Yes.
If you can build another chain, a new Facebook ad, to a new piece of content, to a new opt-in, to a new sales page for the adult who wants to learn Spanish, but they still go to the exact same place. You don't make anything new. It's still take lesson 1. It's still do that. Then that just makes your business stronger. Now, if you're trying to hang 47 chandeliers, you're going to have a really ugly ceiling and everything's going to come crashing down eventually. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You always have to evaluate it like that. Am I really just creating a new path to the same product? That's not a different avatar. That's a different segment of your audience.
Ad.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
A new avatar means this is a new person with a totally new problem that I have to solve with a totally new solution. An avatar can be someone who wants to learn Spanish. That someone can be a primary student or a secondary student or a adult. If you're teaching it in the exact same way or close to it, maybe you just add some supplemental stuff, then that's just a new segment, a new ad. You're just trying to reach new people with the same content. So if you can do that with what you've already created without a whole new thing, then yes, why not just start a sales page for that person?
Okay, sounds good. That answered my question because I was kind of afraid to start something that was going to completely change my focus, which is better quality of life with my family, right. And I still myself, I'm wearing all these hats. But in this case, I think I will sell the course, the Spanish 1 course, like an online course. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that will be an extra passive income for me.
Exactly. It's like what we do. Like if you look in the Flip Lifestyle community, like, the main thing we teach people is how to settle in on avatars, get an offer worked out, get that thing for sale in a membership area. We're really big on recurring revenue, right? But we have other trainings. Like we have things on webinars. We have things on Facebook. Like we add things all the time. We're just adding links to the chain. That's all we're doing. Like now we can say, hey, we have webinar trainings in there. So maybe the entrepreneur who didn't have a path into our membership before now does because we created a new course. You know,
Okay.
You've already got a place for them to go. You're just helping someone else get there. That's totally acceptable anywhere in your business. Don't be so tunnel vision, like Jocelyn said earlier. If someone says, hey, I would love to join that right now, I can just take the courses that already exist. Say yes. Don't say no.
Yeah, it's like the other day we had somebody in the community and he was like, somebody offered to join if I gave him this pricing. And we were like, give him the pricing.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, they were like, I missed your Black Friday sale. Man, I would have joined at that time if I got the Black Friday sale. And they're like, the dude reached out to you begging to come in. Don't say no. Be like, okay, sorry you missed that ad. You know, like give him the Black Friday sale. That's okay.
Yeah.
If anything, it's a reward for that guy taking action and reaching out, you know? So don't ever say no to money. If they want to throw money at you.
Especially when you're just starting out. I mean, you know, if you're an established business and, you know, you don't want to give discounts every 5 seconds, that's fine. But like if you're just starting out, then yeah, give them the discount.
Yeah. If you've got people that have asked you for that training, why not let some of them join and say, see if this works for you.
I'm going to give you this special discount offer because you're testing it out for me.
Exactly. It doesn't say sales professional who wants to learn Spanish, but it's still learn Spanish. So come learn Spanish.
All right, Karim, that was an action-packed phone call. Lots of awesome questions there, and I think that people out there listening will be really fascinated about what you've been able to do so far. So congratulations for coming as far as you have so fast. Like, you've done really awesome.
No, thank you, guys. And I'm waiting for the next mastermind.
It's coming. It's coming.
Okay,
yeah, we've been trying to get moved and all that, so it's been a little crazy, but we are planning on having another one here in 17.
Okay, right. That's good, guys.
All right, Karim, before we go, we always ask our podcast guest, what is one thing that you plan to take action on in like the next 24 hours to move your business ahead based on what we talked about here today?
I'm going to go ahead and start planning my Facebook Live 5-minute tips so I can have the topics and I can start doing them weekly so I can get consistency on that.
Awesome. That's a great thing to do. And I also want you to start in the forums the post about how we're going to advertise to these 2 different segments. And we're going to work on that email to open the doors as fast as possible on your new stuff. Okay?
All right. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for coming back on, Karim.
Okay, bye.
Another awesome call with one of our Flip Your Life community members. To learn more about our Flip Your Life community, head over to fliplifestyle.com/flipyourlife, and we can help you with your online business today.
All right, next we are going to move into our Can't Miss Moments segment of the show, and these are moments that we were able to experience recently that we might have missed if we were still working at our regular 9-to-5 jobs. Today's Can't Miss Moment is a snow day with the kids, and so far we actually only had one snow day here in Kentucky. But when we had that day, it was pretty awesome just to not have to worry about trying to find somebody to watch our kids or having to take a day off work because the kids were at home. Instead, we were able to stay right here in the house. We didn't have to get out where it was like cold and yucky. And it was like super, super cold that day, like 10 degrees Fahrenheit, something like that. And it was nice just to hang out here. We did different things. We did a snow day packet with the kids. It's like work from school. So we were able to work on that with them. We played some computer games because we're nerds like that. And yeah, it was a great day.
Yeah, well, I love snow days because like one of the great things when we were teachers was you get snow days. You know, you kind of get the day off or whatever. But there's so much to do. You know, we wanted to get stuff done around the house, clean the house up, all that. Like a snow day never felt like a day off. But now we really do, you know, when the kids stay home on a snow day, we just say, all right, other than appointments that we don't want to change, we take the rest of the day off. And maybe we catch up on some work at night and once the kids go to bed. But we really take advantage of that time when they're home to actually spend time with them.
And it's nice not to always be like praying for a snow day. I feel like when you're a teacher, you're just waiting for a snow day, like begging for one because you just need that day off so badly. But now I find myself sort of not wanting snow days only because I like to have a longer summer. And like when we were teachers, I feel like that we didn't really have that feeling. So it's nice to be able to enjoy a snow day now and then, but not be dying for one.
All right, guys, that's all the time we have for today. Before we sign off, we'd like to close every one of our shows with a verse from the Bible. Today's Bible verse comes from Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. And the Bible says, whatever you do, work hard as if working for the Lord and not for men. Remember, guys, everything in your life, there's a bigger picture at stake. You don't have to please anyone. Just go out there and use the talents and use the abilities that God has given you. Get out there and use it to change the world and make something happen in your own life. That's all the time we have for this week. As always, guys, thanks for listening to the Flip Lifestyle Podcast. And until next time, get out there, take action, do whatever it takes to flip your life. We'll see you then.
Bye.
My boot print is on your back and you are falling off the cliff. So you have been officially knocked off the cliff, Karim. So let's open the doors.
Every time I talk to you guys, I know it's almost like my palpitation goes up because I know something is coming.
That's awesome.